Greetings, comic book friends. We're doing a TGIW. Thank God it is Wednesday, celebrating the best day of the week, Wednesday, which is New Comic Book Day. Last week had me real worried because of the sheer amount of stuff that I ended up with. But the 2 weeks before it were fairly decent. So I'm hoping that last week was an anomaly because we have a very, very reasonable week this time around. It's not too small, where there's just not a whole lot to sink my teeth into, but it's also not too much. It's the porridge that Goldilocks picked. It's just right. It's right in the middle. And I did go ahead and get all these read, and I have no major complaints about any of them. They're all very good. Anything that I have to say negative, I've probably said already. So I'll start with that, with our TMNT books. So TMNT number 138 and Armageddon game number 5. I did really like these issues. We're things are starting to get resolved, which is good. The problem with Armageddon game, it being too long, it was too much setup. It just went on for way too long. Things are now starting to happen, and it's getting interesting. I did also notice that the series is way out of sync, because we just had issues last week, and it seems like things jumped ahead really far. When I read, let's see. So I read Armageddon Game 5 first, and then I read TMNT number 138 second. And this seemed like a big jump in time. I feel like I'm missing something. Like, here, like, oh, some sort of battle is starting. Like, here, we're in the thick of it. Like, what? What? If you look at the checklist in the back, Armageddon Game is way behind. So this is Armageddon Game 5. Armageddon Game 6 is on the checklist before TMNT number 138. So this is a definite gripe, right? Like, you have to release this stuff in reading order. So now there's going to be number 6 is going to come out, which happens before something I've already read, and I don't want to hold on to issues and wait. Like, I like to read my issues so they're not hanging around, they're not cluttering things up. I read them and then I can file them. So if one of your books in this series is behind, I'm sorry, but you have to hold everything else back. It makes everything behind. You can't jump ahead like that. It makes the story very discontinued. Maybe that's part of why I've been feeling the way I've been feeling about it. Like, I feel like, man, I don't feel like there's like a super common thread, when I understand that it is jumping between groups of people, but they seemed extra disconnected, and it's probably because things are kind of happening out of sync, where they may be referring to something that in the timeline makes sense, but really I haven't read yet, or I read 4 weeks ago. So that's kind of a problem that they're not going to change. I mean, it's so close now. But the stories were good. And once I kind of realized that, I don't know why it's taken me so long to realize that. It was definitely this issue. You know what it was? Because when there's multiple issues in the same week, they usually don't overlap at all. Like, it's like this one will be with one group, another will be another group. Here, they definitely were the same group of people were doing things, and there was a very noticeable time jump. And not a time jump like 3 weeks later. It was like, all right, the battle's just starting, and then, like, holy crap, big things are happening. Like, obviously some stuff was missed, and it's unfortunate. It makes it a little harder to read. Let's see. Of course, we have Spidey books. There's always at least 2 Spidey books. Amazing Spider-Man number 22. I'm liking this story so far. I like the villain. I like that we're getting some answers. We can kind of see where things are going at this point. filling in that time gap that was purposely given about like what happened between Peter and Mary Jane, and Mary Jane specifically having kids all of a sudden. So I'm starting to kind of see where it's going, and it's interesting. I'm on board. I'm on board. Spider-Man: The Lost Hunt #5. So this wraps up this limited series, and it's a back in time. This was written by Mateus. When Peter wasn't Spider-Man, Ben was Spider-Man. Peter didn't have any powers, and a follower of Kraven has come after him to finish the job of Kraven's Last Hunt. So a nice like retro book, looking back in time, a story that takes place then. I liked it. It was interesting. The character they introduced I thought was interesting, and I wouldn't mind seeing them again in the future. But I thought it was good. Though I'm going to say I'm going to try to not get as many of these Spidey Limiteds. I usually have the stance of if it's Spidey, I get it. But I need to not do that. And I always enjoy them, but I mean, and this is probably a bigger conversation that you don't care about, or at least it's not TGIW conversation. I'm kind of taking stock of where I should be putting my time and money into, and I think I need to reevaluate that a little bit. Not that there's anything like I'm in any trouble or anything. It's just I need to rebalance things for my own happiness, I guess. So, and I think part of that I really need to lay off the minis, which I've been saying for a long time. But I'm saying even the Spider-Man minis, and I've been saying no to stuff that's on the shelf. Not Spider-Man, that hasn't happened yet. Like a Spider-Man #1 mini hasn't showed up recently. But other minis that normally I would have jumped at, I've just been, you know what? No, I don't have to get it, and it's fine. Punisher #10. So things seem to be coming to a head. The relationship between Frank and Maria is getting more interesting. Other than Maria's just kind of hanging around, she's definitely a more involved character in the story, which I think is good, because she's the driving force of one of the driving forces of Frank doing what he's doing right now. But Maria's definitely like, look, I guess it's great being alive and everything, but you're never around. You're always doing whatever it is you do. There's also a lot of really good backstory between the relationship between Frank and Maria after he got back from the war, and handling who that kind of turned him into, and him coping with normal life again. It's all very, very interesting. Shows an aspect of both characters that is very engaging. So Frank has this like list of these really, really bad people that is like, I'm going to go take care of these bad people, and then that's it. I'm done. And he keeps saying that over and over again. It's like, tonight's the last night, baby. Then after I'm done. And then more names show up. And it's clear that it's the Punisher doing these things to the world at large. It's understood that it's the Punisher. Like, he's been photographed, recorded, whatever, of doing these things, and doing things in a miraculous behavior. So it's not just your normal Punisher that's doing these things. And some people are upset at him. Some people are cheering him on. It made me think of something, actually. It mentions how there's like people are selling bootleg Punisher, the new Punisher symbol in the book, because people are like, yeah, Punisher, go! You're killing these bad people. So people are buying these bootleg shirts with the new hand symbol on it, and it got me thinking, like, well, is that really bootleg? Because isn't bootleg like when you do something but you don't own the rights to it, or someone else owns the rights? And it really got me thinking about, wait a second. Who owns the rights to the Punisher logo in the Marvel Universe? In the Marvel Universe, right? It's not like the Punisher goes and gets a trademark. It's, Spider-Man doesn't get a trademark. Matt Murdock doesn't go get a trademark of the DD. They'd have to expose their identity to do that. So, who owns those trademarks, if anyone? I understand, like, Fantastic Four, yeah, they can trademark that all day. But these heroes that don't really play by the rules, or they have secret identities, could a company just, like, sees that symbol on Spider-Man, like, you know what? I'm trademarking that symbol. I'm selling T-shirts. And I don't know, sue Spider-Man, I suppose. Like, hey, you're wearing our trademark symbol. It was dumb. They could have just said, like, selling T-shirts. Like, but no, okay, T-shirts. But they said bootleg, and they got me thinking about what bootleg actually means. And like, wait a second, I don't know if bootleg is the right word for that. Anyway, this is very good. The story between Frank and Maria is becoming more central, and in this issue, you can see where Maria and the old hand lady, I forget her name, are kind of at odds, where Maria wants Frank at home, the hand wants him out doing the work of the beast. And it can't be both. So, but very, very good issue. Some good stuff in there. Joe Fixit number 3, a nice fun throwback. I do enjoy these. I think they're a lot of fun, and this has been a good story. And it ended midway through. There was a like, oh crap moment, and then at the very end there's another like, oh crap moment. It's a good fun Hulk story. Of that Joe Fixit time. And I believe it is Peter David writing it, who did write the original stories for Joe Fixit. She-Hulk number 11. So we kind of had some downtime. Jack of Hearts came back, and they want to have a relationship, but they're worried because Jack could suck the gamma right out of her. It opens kind of playfully with something that's not really germane to any sort of plot or anything. It's just kind of a fun bit. And then it gets into a little bit of Jack of Hearts, and there's a bit that I'm missing. Oh, yeah, it gets into a bit of the Jack of Hearts stuff and the relationship, and they're being comfortable with what's going on and how to handle it. And then towards the end, it kind of opens up into, we're going to start a new storyline sort of thing. And the last one we have is Swamp Thing Green Hell number 3. Yes, this is the last issue of this. Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I have 2 stories, the Lost Hunt and Joe Fixit, which are 2 stories that take place in the past. This takes place in the future. It's written by Lemire. It's it's such a great Swamp Thing story. The general premise is it's in the future. Swamp Thing has essentially retired. The Green has gifted him with this place, this construct place where he can live with the souls of his wife and daughter. Abby and Teef, I think her name is. And happily ever after for eternity. Meanwhile, in reality, the Green and the Red are like, you know what? I'm kind of tired of these humans. They're really we gave them a bunch of chances and they really are messing the world up. So they basically wipe out humanity. Swamp Thing knows nothing of this. And John Constantine, being the bastard that he is, pulls Swamp Thing out of his paradise. It's like, look, we need you. This is happening. So that's the general premise, and it's fantastic all the way through. Lemire did great. Art is by Mankey. Also great. Very, very, very good. Highly, highly suggest it. Especially if you're a Swamp Thing fan, there's no reason not to get that. And the other thing that I picked up, because this was pre-ordered, is Volume 7 of Usagi's Jimbo Saga, the Dark Horse releases. So this I was worried about because this is a new printing. I was reading through Usagi Jimbo in these, and when I got up to 7, I found it was out of print. Like, uh-oh, that's not good. And they were super pricey on eBay, like 120, 150 bucks, something like that. Like, well, that sucks. And these are cover prices like 25 bucks, 30 bucks. I think they used to be 25, 30 now. But 30 bucks for a lot of content. Like, I don't want to pay 120, 150 for something that should be 30 or 25 at a time. So, like, I don't know what to do. I just cross my fingers and hope they reprint. And thankfully, they did. The same is true with number 8. That reprint is coming. It isn't out yet, but I do have it ordered. And the number 9, I think I picked that up when it came out. I saw it there. I'm like, oh, I know I've been having problems getting these other ones go out of print. I'm just going to grab that while it's here. So I have 9, but now I got 7. 8 is on the way. I don't know how much more is after that. But yeah, I'm just really, really glad that they did reprint these, because it's such a great read. But that's it. So we have 8 books, and then the Usagi Jimbo Saga. So a nice, calm week. Was able to get through everything without having to rush or anything like that. So really happy with it. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. What did you get this week that was exciting? What are your feelings on superhero logo trademark law in comic universes? I'm curious to know. But that is all. Like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to make yours Titan. This video was brought to you by Titan Comic Pressing. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Titan Comic Pressing LLC.